Everything you want in life starts with you. Your success, your relationships, your confidence, your happiness. It all comes down to how much you are willing to invest in yourself. Most people are searching for answers outside of themselves. They look for shortcuts, for secrets, for someone else to fix their problems. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. If you want more, if you want better, if you want to become the person you were meant to be, you have to put in the work. Most people never do this. They stay distracted. They stay comfortable. They settle for the life that was given to them instead of creating the life they actually want. And then they wonder why. They feel stuck. Why they feel unfulfilled. Why they feel like something is missing. It is because they never took full ownership of their growth. They never made the decision to work on themselves every single day. And this is the difference between those who succeed and those who do not. The ones who rise, the ones who build incredible lives, the ones who separate themselves from the average are not the ones who were born lucky or had it easy. They are the ones who made a commitment to self-improvement. They are the ones who refuse to stay the same. The ones who woke up every day and said, I am going to be better than I was yesterday. Working on yourself is not a luxury. It is a requirement. If you want to win, if you want to be the best version of yourself, if you want to build a life that you are proud of, you cannot afford to ignore self-development. You cannot afford to coast through life hoping that things will magically get better. It does not work that way. If you want to improve, you have to put in the effort. You have to make it a priority. You have to be intentional about growing, about evolving, about becoming someone who operates at a higher level. And here's the truth. If you are not working on yourself, you are falling behind. Because the world is not stopping. Other people are getting better. Other people are learning, growing, leveling up. And if you're not doing the same, you will get left behind. You will wake up one day and realize that years have passed, but you are still the same. The same mindset, the same problems, the same excuses, and that is not the life you want. The next 6 months, the next year, the next 5 years of your life will be completely different if you commit to working on yourself every single day. If you make the decision right now that you are going to invest in yourself, in your mind, in your skills, in your health, in your confidence, your entire future will change. But it starts with you. It starts with a choice to stop waiting and start working. Working on yourself begins with a simple but powerful realization. You are responsible for everything in your life. The moment you accept that, you take control. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, other people, or the past, you gain the power to change. Most people never do this. They hold on to excuses. They convince themselves that they are stuck because of something outside of their control. But that is a lie. The truth is, you are exactly where you are because of the choices you have made up until this point. And the only way to change your future is to start making better choices today. The first area you must work on is your mindset. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you think small, you will live small. If you focus on problems, you will attract more problems. But if you train yourself to think in terms of solutions, if you train yourself to focus on opportunities, you will create a life that reflects that mindset. Your beliefs dictate your actions, and your actions determine your results. That is why winners guard their thoughts fiercely. They do not allow negativity, doubt, or weakness to take root in their mind. They program themselves to think like champions. And this is not about fake positivity. This is not about ignoring reality. This is about training your brain to focus on what moves you forward. It is about shifting from a victim mentality to a winner's mentality. Instead of saying, I can't do this, you say, how can I do this? Instead of saying, this is too hard, you say, I will figure this out. That shift in thinking changes everything. Because once you believe that you are capable of growth, once you believe that you are in control, you start making different decisions. And different decisions lead to a different life. But a strong mindset alone is not enough. You must also develop self-discipline. Without discipline, you will always fall back into old habits, into comfort, into procrastination. Most people rely on motivation, but motivation is unreliable. Some days you will feel like pushing yourself, but other days you will not. And if you only work on yourself when you feel like it, you will never get anywhere. The people who succeed are the ones who do what needs to be done, whether they feel like it or not. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it must be developed through repetition. It is built by doing the hard things consistently, by waking up early when you said you would, by going to the gym even when you are tired, by sticking to your commitments even when no one is watching. Every time you follow through, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you give in to excuses, you weaken it. And this is the truth most people do not want to hear. Your success is directly tied to your ability to do the things you do not want to do. That is what separates the average from the elite. But discipline is not just about working hard. It is about working smart. If you are constantly grinding but making no progress, you are not working on yourself. You are just staying busy. There's a difference between movement and progress. Winners do not just work hard, they work with purpose. They set clear goals. They track their progress. They refine their approach. They make sure that every action they take is moving them closer to the life they want. This is why goal setting is essential. If you do not have a clear target, you will waste time. Most people drift through life without direction, reacting to whatever happens instead of creating their own path. But the ones who work on themselves daily, they set clear, specific goals. They do not just say, I want to be successful. They define exactly what success looks like. They do not just say, I want to be in better shape. They set measurable targets. I will work out 5 days a week. I will drop 15 pounds in the next 3 months. When you have specific goals, you can create a real plan. And when you have a real plan, you know exactly what needs to be done every day. And here is the key. You must hold yourself accountable. Most people set goals, but they do not track them. They make commitments, but they do not follow through. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Winners track their progress relentlessly. They measure results. They evaluate what is working and what is not. They do not just set goals. They make sure they are hitting them. This is how you build confidence. Confidence does not come from luck. It does not come from other people telling you that you are good enough. Confidence comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself. When you tell yourself you will do something and you follow through, you build trust in yourself. And that trust turns into unshakable confidence. But when you constantly break your own commitments, you weaken your confidence. You train yourself to not believe in your own word. And this is why most people struggle with self-esteem. They do not follow through on their own commitments. They make excuses. They say they will change, but they do not. And deep down, they know it. But the ones who work on themselves every day, they keep their promises. They do what they say they will do. And because of that, they trust themselves. They walk with confidence because they have earned it. Everything changes when you start working on yourself with intention. when you take control of your mindset, when you build unshakable discipline, when you set real goals and hold yourself accountable, you separate yourself from the pack. You become someone who creates success instead of waiting for it. You become someone who demands more from themselves instead of settling for less. You become the kind of person that wins. And this is not about luck. It is not about talent. It is about a decision. The decision to work on yourself every single day, no matter what. Because the people who do that, they do not just change their lives. They change everything. Working on yourself means mastering the way you use your time. Time is the most valuable resource you have. You can lose money and make it back. You can fail and recover. But the time you waste, you will never get it back. And that is why winners treat their time like gold. They protect it. They do not waste it on distractions, on pointless conversations, on things that do not move them forward. They understand that every minute spent on nonsense is a minute taken away from their future. Most people never take control of their time. They wake up without a plan. They let the day dictate their actions instead of dictating the day. They move through life on autopilot, reacting to whatever happens instead of being intentional. And that is why they never make real progress, because success does not come from being busy. It comes from being productive. Winners schedule their days with purpose. They know exactly what needs to get done, and they do it. They do not waste energy deciding what to work on. They already know. They do not let distractions steal their focus. They eliminate them before they even have the chance. Because they understand that success is built in the hours no one is watching. It is built in the moments when no one is holding you accountable. It is built in the quiet discipline of choosing to stay locked in when the rest of the world is distracted. And this is where most people go wrong. They think working on themselves means reading a book once in a while, watching motivational videos, or talking about success. But real self-improvement happens in the actions you take every single day. It is in how you wake up, how you spend your morning, how you use your evenings, how you execute, not just when you are feeling inspired, but even on the days when you are tired, frustrated, or unmotivated. This is why you must master your habits. Your habits are what shape your future. The things you do repeatedly, the routines you stick to, the disciplines you develop, these are the things that determine who you become. Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They think success comes from one big breakthrough. But in reality, success is built through daily habits. Every day, you are either reinforcing habits that make you stronger or habits that make you weaker. Every day, you are either building discipline or you are breaking it. And this is the brutal truth most people do not want to accept. Your life right now is the result of the habits you have built over time. If you are not where you want to be, it is because your habits have not been serving you. And if you want to change your future, you have to start by changing your daily habits. Winners build habits that push them forward. They train their minds every day. They challenge themselves. They stay physically sharp. They read. They learn. They execute. They wake up with purpose. They go to bed knowing they made progress. And they do this without excuses. They do not skip workouts. They do not waste time on meaningless entertainment. They do not let distractions run their day. They take control. This is why you must build a winning routine. If you leave your success to chance, you will never get there. You need to have a structure. You need a morning routine that sets the tone for the day. You need a night routine that prepares you for the next one. You need daily non-negotiables, things you do every single day, no matter what. because routines eliminate decision fatigue. They take the guesswork out of success. They make progress automatic. And here's the key. Consistency is everything. Most people can stay focused for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, but then they fall off. They get distracted. They lose momentum. And that is why they never see real results. Winners do not stop. They do not take breaks from their discipline. They do not let one bad day turn into a bad week. They stay locked in because they understand that the results do not come from what you do occasionally. They come from what you do consistently. This is why you must eliminate the things that slow you down. Most people say they want success, but they are surrounded by distractions. They are wasting hours on entertainment, on gossip, on things that do not add value to their life. And then they wonder why they are stuck. But the truth is, what you allow into your life determines how far you go. If you are constantly around negativity, laziness, and excuses, that's exactly what you will become. Winners do not allow that. They protect their energy. They guard their environment. They cut out anything that weakens them. They do not let negativity in. They do not let small-minded people pull them down. They create an environment that supports their growth. They surround themselves with people who challenge them, who inspire them, who push them to be better. Because they know that success is not just about what you do, it is about who you surround yourself with. And this is the truth. Your environment is either making you stronger or making you weaker. There's no neutral. Every day, the people you are around, the things you consume, the habits you reinforce, they are either lifting you up or holding you back. And if you are serious about working on yourself, you must make the hard decisions. You must remove anything that does not serve you. You must set boundaries. You must be willing to be different, to stand alone if necessary, to put yourself in an environment that forces you to level up. Because the people who work on themselves daily, they do not just change their own lives. They become leaders. They inspire others. They set the standard. They become the ones who create opportunities, who build, who dominate. And they do this because they made the decision to stop being average, to stop making excuses, to stop wasting time. They made the decision to work on themselves every single day, no matter what. Working on yourself means developing an unstoppable work ethic. It means showing up every single day, putting in the work, and refusing to settle for anything less than your best. Most people work when they feel like it. They give effort when it is convenient. But that is why most people stay average. The ones who truly transform, they work on themselves with relentless intensity. They push beyond their limits. They do what others will not do. And that is why they get what others will never have. Your work ethic is not about talent. It is not about luck. It is about how hard you are willing to push yourself when no one is watching, when no one is holding you accountable, when no one is telling you what to do. This is where champions are made. Not in the moments of motivation, but in the moments of discipline. The moments when you choose to keep going even when everything inside of you wants to stop. Most people never push themselves to that level. They stop when it gets uncomfortable. They slow down when they do not see immediate results. But success does not work that way. Growth does not work that way. You do not get rewarded for trying. You get rewarded for committing. You do not get rewarded for starting. You get rewarded for finishing. And the only way to finish is to keep pushing forward no matter what. And this is where most people fail. They think that just putting in effort is enough. But effort without intensity is wasted motion. You cannot just go through the motions and expect to see results. You have to attack your goals. You have to train with purpose. You have to execute like your future depends on it, because it does. Winners do not work casually. They work with precision. They do not waste time on things that do not matter. They do not let distractions steal their focus. They do not allow themselves to move without purpose. Every action they take is intentional. Every decision is made with the goal of leveling up. They are not just working hard, they are working strategically. And this is where most people go wrong. They confuse activity with progress. They think that just being busy means they are improving. But busyness is not the same as productivity. You can spend all day working and still accomplish nothing if you are not focused. You can put in hours and still stay in the same place if you are not working on the right things. This is why you must master high-level execution. You must train yourself to work smarter, not just harder. This means knowing exactly what your priorities are. It means eliminating anything that does not move you forward. It means being ruthless about how you spend your time, your energy, and your effort. Because every moment wasted is a moment that could have been used to get better. And here is the truth. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you cut corners in one area of your life, you will cut corners in others. If you take shortcuts in your work, you will take shortcuts in your personal growth. If you allow yourself to slack off in the small things, you will slack off in the big things. Winners hold themselves to the highest standard in everything they do because they know that excellence is a habit. You must train yourself to operate at a higher level. You must demand more from yourself. You must hold yourself accountable to a standard that most people are not willing to meet, because that is what separates the elite from the average. The elite do not accept anything less than their best. They do not tolerate mediocrity. They do not make excuses. They show up, they execute, and they do whatever it takes to win. And this is not just about work. This is about your entire life. The way you approach your career, your fitness, your mindset, your relationships, it all reflects your personal standard. If you tolerate weakness in one area, it will bleed into every other area. If you allow yourself to take the easy route, you will never experience true success. The people who rise are the ones who refuse to accept anything less than their absolute best. And here's the hard truth. Most people are not willing to do this. They want success, but they are not willing to sacrifice for it. They want growth, but they are not willing to struggle for it. They want to be great, but they are not willing to push through the pain, the setbacks, the challenges that come with it. And that is why they stay the same. That is why they never break through. That is why they look at the ones who make it and think they must be lucky. But luck had nothing to do with it. They worked for it. They earned it. They built themselves into someone who deserves it. And this is why working on yourself is not a temporary thing. It is a lifetime commitment. You do not do it for a few months and then stop. You do not work hard for a while and then go back to old habits. You make it a way of life. You commit to constant improvement. You commit to never settling. You commit to always getting better, no matter what. Because the people who truly succeed, they never stop. They never slow down. They never become complacent. They keep pushing. They keep grinding. They keep evolving. And that is why they stay ahead while everyone else falls behind. So from this moment forward, raise your standards. Do not just work. Work like a champion. Do not just train. Train like an elite performer. Do not just improve. Demand the highest level of growth from yourself every single day. Because the ones who do that, they do not just win, they dominate. Working on yourself means mastering your emotions. It means developing the ability to stay focused, stay disciplined, and stay locked in no matter what is happening around you. Most people let their emotions control them. They allow fear, doubt, frustration, or laziness to dictate their actions. And that is why they stay stuck. But winners, they take full control over their mind. They do not allow their emotions to make their decisions. They operate from commitment, not feelings. Emotional control is one of the most underrated skills in the world. The ability to keep moving forward even when you do not feel like it. The ability to stay calm under pressure. The ability to push through pain, through discomfort, through frustration without breaking. That is what separates the best from everyone else. Because life will test you. You will face setbacks. You will experience days when nothing goes right. And if you allow those moments to dictate your actions, you will never reach your full potential. Most people let temporary emotions ruin their long-term success. They have one bad day and they throw everything away. They experience failure and they start doubting themselves. They feel tired and they give themselves permission to quit. But winners, they train themselves to push through those moments. They understand that feelings are temporary, but results come from consistency. They do not make emotional decisions. They make disciplined decisions. And this is where most people go wrong. They think that success is about being motivated all the time. But motivation is unreliable. You will not always feel like working. You will not always feel like training. You will not always feel like doing what needs to be done. And if you allow yourself to operate based on how you feel, you will never achieve greatness. Because greatness is not built on emotion. It is built on commitment. This is why you must develop mental toughness. Winners do not allow distractions, negativity, or self-doubt to take control of their mind. They train themselves to stay locked in no matter what. They focus on solutions, not problems. They take responsibility instead of making excuses. They push forward even when things feel impossible, because they know that the ones who keep going are the ones who win. And here is the truth. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. You will face setbacks. You will experience challenges. You will be tested. But the way you react to those moments will determine everything. Most people let challenges break them. Winners use challenges to make them stronger. Every time you face resistance, you have two choices. You can use it as an excuse to stop, or you can use it as fuel to push forward. You can let it weaken you, or you can let it strengthen you. And this is the difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck. The ones who rise are the ones who refuse to back down. They do not let emotions, fear, or difficulty stop them. They embrace adversity because they know that pressure creates diamonds. And this is where self-mastery comes in. If you want to work on yourself at the highest level, you must develop control over your mind, your emotions, and your reactions. You must train yourself to operate from logic and discipline, not from impulse and weakness. You must become the kind of person who stays focused no matter what is happening around you. Because the people who can stay calm, stay locked in, and keep executing under pressure, they are the ones who always come out on top. And this is not just about success. This is about life. Because every area of your life will improve when you learn to master your emotions. Your relationships will improve because you will stop reacting out of anger or insecurity. Your decision-making will improve because you will no longer be controlled by fear. Your confidence will improve because you will know that nothing can shake you. Most people never reach this level. They allow outside circumstances to dictate their actions. They let other people's opinions affect their confidence. They let failure make them quit. But winners, they operate with unshakable focus. They do not let the outside world dictate their success. They create their own path. They stay focused on their mission, no matter what. And this is where true strength comes from. Not from talent, not from luck, but from unbreakable discipline, from training your mind to stay strong when others fold, from staying focused when the world is full of distractions, from committing to your growth even when life makes it difficult. Because the ones who refuse to quit, the ones who refuse to let emotions take control, the ones who keep pushing forward, they are the ones who become unstoppable. So from this moment forward, commit to mastering your emotions. Commit to staying focused, staying disciplined, staying in control, no matter what. Because the ones who do that, they do not just succeed, they dominate. Working on yourself means never becoming complacent. It means never settling, never stopping, never deciding that you have done enough. Most people reach a certain level of success, and then they slow down. They think they have arrived. They become comfortable, and that is when they start falling behind. But the ones who win in the long run, they never stop growing. They never stop learning. They never stop pushing forward, because they understand that the moment you stop improving is the moment you start declining. Winners do not look at success as a finish line. They see it as a starting point. They do not celebrate too long because they know there is always another level. They do not relax just because they have achieved something, because they know that if they slow down, someone else will pass them. This is what separates the great from the average, the willingness to keep pushing even after you have already won. And this is the mindset you must develop. You cannot afford to take your foot off the gas. You cannot afford to get comfortable. You must always be searching for the next challenge, always refining your skills, always sharpening your mind. Because if you are not improving, you are falling behind. There is no standing still. This is why the best in the world keep training even after they reach the top. The best athletes still practice harder than everyone else. The most successful entrepreneurs still study, still learn, still innovate. The greatest minds still seek new knowledge, still refine their thinking, still push their limits, because they know that success is rented, and the rent is due every single day. Most people are looking for an easy path. They want to do the bare minimum and still get rewarded. But life does not work that way. The only way to keep winning is to keep evolving, to keep upgrading your skills, to keep refining your strategy, to keep putting in the work long after everyone else has given up. And that takes relentless hunger. You must stay hungry for growth, hungry for knowledge, hungry for better results. The second you lose that hunger, you lose your edge. The second you start thinking, I've made it, you start falling behind. Winners never think they have made it. They are always pushing for more knowledge, more discipline, more mastery, more impact. And this is the key. Your potential is limitless, but only if you keep growing. Only if you keep pushing forward. Only if you refuse to settle for anything less than your absolute best. Most people stop at good enough, but good enough is the enemy of great. And if you want to be great, if you want to maximize your potential, you must develop an obsession with constant improvement. This means surrounding yourself with people who push you. Most people stay average because they surround themselves with average people. They do not challenge themselves. They do not put themselves in environments that demand more from them. But winners, they intentionally seek out people who are better than them. They surround themselves with those who inspire them, who challenge them, who force them to level up. You must audit your circle. Who are you learning from? Who are you competing against? Who are you allowing to influence your mindset? Because the people you spend time with will either elevate you or hold you back. Winners choose to be around those who elevate them. They put themselves in rooms where they are the least experienced, where they have to stretch, where they have to grow, because they know that pressure makes them stronger. And this is why most people never reach their full potential. They stay in comfort zones. They surround themselves with people who do not challenge them. They settle for average conversations, average habits, average results. But the ones who work on themselves daily, they are constantly leveling up their environment, constantly seeking out new challenges, constantly putting themselves in situations that demand more from them. Because here is the truth. You will only grow as much as your environment allows you to. If you want to go to the next level, you must put yourself in an environment that forces you to grow. That challenges you, that makes you uncomfortable. Because growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. This is why the best in the world never stop challenging themselves. They do not just work on their strengths, they attack their weaknesses. They do not just do what they are good at. They push themselves into areas that make them uncomfortable. Because they know that true growth happens in the struggle. So from this moment forward, commit to relentless growth. Never get comfortable. Never think you have arrived. Never allow yourself to settle. Push yourself every single day. Challenge yourself every single day. Demand more from yourself every single day, because the people who do that, they do not just succeed, they become unstoppable. You now understand the power of working on yourself. You know that everything you want, success, confidence, discipline, growth, comes from the effort you put into yourself. No one is going to do it for you. No one is coming to push you, to hold you accountable, to make sure you stay consistent. It is on you. And that is the greatest truth you can embrace. You are in full control of your future. Most people never realize this. They wait. They make excuses. They convince themselves that circumstances are holding them back. But winners, they take full responsibility. They wake up every day and commit to becoming better. They refuse to stay the same. They refuse to let time pass without progress. They refuse to let comfort steal their potential. And that is why they succeed. The question is,